There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino is the Name. Hey, yo, what's going on right now? You're watching Casino is the Name. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about how you can get started doing government contracts. So recently, I posted a video where I talked about making my first $100,000 in 6 months doing government contracts. And since that video, many of you have been reaching out, hitting me up, asking me how you guys can maybe get started doing something like that. And so I feel like if you don't really know how to get into it, then I got to go back to the basics. Okay. So first off, government contracts are basically the way that the government receives goods and services. So if they need computers because they have a new medical clinic that they're standing up, they need computers for the doctors and the nurses to use. And so they may put out a government contract sourcing those computers and those electronics that they use in the clinic. And pretty much everything is the same way. The needles that they use, the gauzes, the uniforms, all of that is sourced through government contracts. And at the same time, they may also be sourcing services they need for that clinic. That clinic may have a parking lot and they need the parking lot to be cleaned on a regular basis because they may have a medical staff, but cleaning the facility, taking out the trash, all of that may be through a government contract. You understand? So those things all go through government contracts, and that's how you can get in and make some money. But there's at least 2 ways that we're going to talk about government contracts or how you can get into government contracts, and they're pretty unique. So the main way that people think about government contracts is from the prime side. So you have a prime contractor and you have a subcontractor, okay? So the prime contractor is the person who actually wins the contract, right? So the prime bid on a contract, won a contract, and so that contract that the government awards is yours or is theirs, right? Now, a lot of the times, a prime contractor may or may not do that specialty, or they may or may not want to even do that particular thing that they won the contract for. They may want to outsource most of that work, or some of that job that they may get may require them have to outsource it because they don't have a particular specialty. So like say if you win a construction contract and you can do the main job, but part of that job may require a plumber come in. So you may outsource that plumbing job because maybe you guys or your company is more on the masonry side. Maybe you lay bricks, maybe you do more carpentry, maybe you do something like that. So you have to bring in a skilled labor person who may do HVAC, plumbing, electrical, something like that. You may require them come in and do that particular skill set. So you'll subcontract out that work if you don't have that in-house to your company. Some people pretty much outsource most to all of the actual construction part, but they handle the paperwork side. So typically, government contracts will still require the prime to have a certain percentage of involvement in the total project itself. But it definitely deals with a lot of subcontracts in government contracts. Just like in general, a lot of government contracts are just subcontractors or subcontracted out to people. And so that's actually my favorite way to get into government contracts. So of course, everybody mainly tells you to go be a prime, bid on a contract, things like that. Me, I would probably tell you, if you're a new startup, probably the fastest way to money and probably the least risk that you're going to take is if you were to do a subcontract. So How do you get a subcontract? Well, you find a prime, somebody who's already won a contract. You reach out to that prime and say, hey, if you need any help with anything, let me know. You know a person who just won a prime contract to do construction and you do plumbing, you reach out to them and say, hey, if you got any, I know you do government contracts for construction. If you got any work that you need for this kind of skill set, let me know. I can give you a discount, or we can just work on things together. If you need to make a bid on something, like if there's a contractor who's a prime person, somebody who wants to be a prime, and they're going to bid on a contract, but they may not know how much it's going to cost to do the electrical part, and you have an electrical or electrician that you have access to who can work for your company. You can say, hey, let me know if you need me to do an estimate on what it would cost for me to do, or my companies to step in and do the electrical part of this contract. And if they win that contract, they already know how much you're going to charge, and y'all can already go ahead and you get the subcontract and you can go that way. And you may say, well, what if I don't know anyone? How do I even find people that win a prime contract? Because how am I supposed to find these people? Well, that's actually public information. So when someone wins a government contract, let's say if you saw a contract on sam.gov or on some kind of state website, and you saw that contract, and you're like, man, I don't want to bid on the whole contract, but you do see that there may be a part of that contract that you may be able to do. And let's say it's a t-shirt printing contract, and you see the contract, but you don't get around to bidding on it. But then you see somebody wins the bid, and it's a t-shirt printing contract. And you're like, man, I have a t-shirt press. I can press all of these shirts. They want 2,000 shirts. I can at least do 500. Let me reach out to the person who won the contract. And you can actually see that who won whatever contract, and the company, the phone number, and email. So you can reach out to those companies and say, hey, can I assist? I do this as well. I can do it for this amount. And then you kind of pitch yourself to them. And you just try to make sure that it works for everybody. But this is how, to me, that is the easiest way to get into government contracts, because somebody has already won the contract. It's not like you got to bid and you got to get all this information together, and then you have to bid on it, and you have to wait until they decide. You got to go actually out to see it and everything like that, site visits. This is all before you actually win on a lot of these contracts. They may require site visits and things like that, and you haven't won the contract. So you may as a prime, you may be involved in a much longer process than, say, a sub. A prime already wins the contract. I've gotten calls saying, hey, can you guys, this is a Friday, can you get 20 people together for Monday? Because I want to be able to give you this. I need somebody who can handle this. Can you handle it? Can you get 20 people together between Friday and Monday to show up on site to start doing this work? You know what I'm saying? But that's a subcontractor. It's rare ever that a prime will ever just be called up and say, hey, I got a contract for you. I need you guys to show up on Monday. And they've never even bid on the contract. They've never done the research. It's rare. Now, can it happen? Absolutely. Anything can happen in this world. But it's highly unlikely. So just saying, to me, if you want to get straight to the money with the least amount of overhead and things like that, to me, it would be being a subcontractor. That's the fastest way to money to me. Anyway, if you find any value in these videos, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to keep these type of videos coming. Make sure you guys let me know if you find any value in this video. All right, right now you're watching Casino as a Name. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we out. There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino is the name.